Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos. And Manchester United have just significantly beaten Fulham at Old Trafford by 4 goals to 1. Our first win now, our first win in 4 games now in the Premier League, and now it has particularly confirmed now that Lukaku, his first goal at Old Trafford since March, and now this is potentially Jose Mourinho's 50th Premier League victory as Manchester United manager. And we potentially need this, of course, as I'm saying, but it's confirmed. Man United won by 4 goals to 1 today. Obviously, before the game, obviously we know Fulham had two of their players out. Man United had Lindelof and Sanchez out, and obviously Martial did not start today because obviously he limped off against Arsenal. But 4 goals to 1 today, very very good performance. Just watched the highlights of the game. As I said the last time we played Fulham before today was 2014. There was 81 crosses in that game. I think that was during the David Moyes era. Potentially, this was the 10th meeting between Jose Mourinho and Claudio Ranieri. In all competitions, as we all know. Potentially, we still remain unbeaten at Old Trafford. Against Fulham. Since 2003. Potentially. We haven't lost to Fulham, and I'm quite surprised that Fulham have got the worst goal difference in the league. They currently had a good summer window. They've got 12 players in. I think they spent over £100 million, as I said. But Mourinho today confirmed in the lineup he went with a 4-3-3. He started Lukaku today. As I said, he did start Lukaku today. He dropped Paul Pogba, didn't even bring him on as a substitute. As we all know, Ashley Young also got back into the starting 11 today. He got a goal, and he also got an assist. Rashford got Rashford Rashford got the fourth, and he also produced 2 assists as well. So fair play to Rashford. And also Mata scored today and also got an assist as well, which was very very good to see. And also Ashley Young got an assist as well and a goal as well, which was very very good to see. But Mourinho went with 4-3-3. He brought Ashley Young. Obviously he missed the Arsenal match due to suspension, but he was back. He went with De Gea, Doyle. He went with Smalling. I think he went with Jones. He went with Doyle, Smalling, Jones. At full back, left back, he went with Ashley Young. In midfield three, he went with Herrera, Matic, and Juan Mata. And then he went with Lingard. He went with Lingard. What were the other one? Lingard, Lukaku, and Marcus Rashford. Of course, that's the lineup. Jose Mourinho. It was a great performance today. Rashford played very, very well. Ashley Young played very, very well. He was putting dangerous crosses in, and he looked a real threat, when he was on the ball. And his first goal was absolutely sublime. I watched it. Rashford had got the assist. He nutmegged the defender on the left hand side, and whacked the ball, curled in straight into the top right hand corner, and that was 1-0. That was a great, great goal from Ashley Young, and then potentially Man United were in top for most of the game. Fulham were very, very poor. And then Manchester United got the second goal through. It was Juan Mata who got the second goal. I think it was Juan Mata. Rashford was in the box on the left hand side, played it through to Mata very, very nicely, and Juan Mata hit it inside the box, calm and composed finish, and that was 2-0. And then potentially we was 3-0 up by half time as well. Manchester United went 3-0 up. Lovely, lovely link up play between Jesse Lingard, who I thought had a fantastic game. Lovely link up play between Lingard and Juan Mata. Juan Mata got in the box. Lovely exchange passes between Lingard and Mata. Mata put it through, and Lukaku there was in the 6-yard box to took it away, and that was 3-0. And then potentially half time came. There was quite a lot of chances Man United had, and it could have been a hell of a lot more. I don't think Fulham really created out in terms of chances a row. Potentially half time came, and then obviously we brought substitutions on in the second half. I think Man United had 20 shots, Fulham had 10, and we created 17. Fulham created 7. Second half we brought Rojo on for Smalling, of course. Rojo on for Smalling. Rojo came on for Smalling, and then potentially throughout the second half, Fulham had been awarded a penalty. I think Herrera had challenged Kamara. Kamara, however you pronounce his name, in the box. Fulham had got the penalty, and that potentially made it 3-1. And then potentially we wrapped it up with the fourth goal. Lovely, lovely goal from Rashford. He got on a goal and also got 2 assists as well, did Marcus Rashford. Rashford on the left hand side, assisted by Young. The left hand side whacked it, and it was a thunderbolt, and it went straight into the back of the net, and that was 4-1. But it was good to see Rashford get 2 assists, get his name. Rashford get 2 assists, get his name on the score sheet as well. Ashley Young to get a goal and also get an assist was good. Mata to get a goal and also get an assist was good as well. That was very, very good as well. It was good to see Lukaku score as well because he hasn't been to his potential best this season. But I think Lukaku, was very, very good today. And I said if we perform like that week in, week out, Jose Mourinho, wouldn't be under as much pressure. And potentially also Fulham had a current player sent off in the game as well. I can't pronounce his name, but I think Fulham did go down to 10 men in the game as well. But good dominant performance in Manchester United. A lot of players put a good shift in. Ashley Young was sublime today, scored a great goal. I thought he was good on that left hand side. I thought he was causing Fulham problems on that left. I thought Rashford with his genuine pace, he was causing Fulham problems, and Fulham couldn't cope with this. I thought Mata had a great game as well, and a good defensive performance as well. But obviously we haven't kept another clean sheet. Fulham got the set piece from the penalty, as we all know. But great performance. There were lovely link-up play a lot of times in the game as well. Lovely passing, and I thought the goals were absolutely sublime as well. And I thought today we showed a great performance, and you can take positives from that game today. Of what I saw with the highlights anyway, and who came on as a subs. Scott McTominay came on for Rashford. Rojo came on for Smalling, and Fred came on for Lingard. But obviously Mourinho did confirm, didn't he, that Fred will be getting more game time and potentially we're strong defensively, and when the team is better balanced. And this is what potentially Jose Mourinho had confirmed. But potentially we have got winning, now we know the pressure has been so much under Jose Mourinho, but now we have got winnable games coming up. Liverpool's going to be tough next week. I think presumably we are going to lose that game anyway. We've got Valencia in the Champions League, which doesn't really matter because we're already in the knockouts for the Champions League anyway for February. Then potentially we've got Cardiff coming up soon. We've got Bournemouth coming up soon. So if we do get some wins behind us, as we did obviously before we lost to Manchester City, we've got quite a few wins behind us. We was on decent form. Then Mourinho won't be as under much pressure. I haven't changed my perspective, regarding the situation with Jose Mourinho. I still potentially, want him out of the club. To be quite fair, because it is only Fulham at home. They are at bottom of the table. They've got the worst goal difference in the league, and they spent over £100 million during the course of the summer. Did Fulham as well, but great to see Rashford are fantastic today, and he could have got on a hat trick as assist today as well. Could Rashford? He got 2 assists in the 2-2 draw with Southampton as well. Was it last week something like that? And it was good to see Young get an assist, Young get a goal, Mata to get a goal. And also Mata to get an assist as well, which was very, very good to see because Mata's assist was for Lukaku's third goal, and that was lovely link-up play between Juan Mata and Lingard. But as we all know, we're still, potentially hearing the rumours about, potentially, so we've got to try and get some wins behind us now. But we know potentially we have been hearing the rumours potentially about Jose Mourinho leaving Manchester United. According to currently George Mendes, who currently represents Jose Mourinho, he dispelled the myth. He says he's happy with the club are happy with Mourinho. He says, from George Mendes' perspective, he's fully committed to the club. It's Jose Mourinho, and potentially, he said he's fully committed to the club, Jose Mourinho, in building a solid winning project. This is what he currently pronounced. He got a long-term contract. Did George Mendes, and he rarely speaks public about Jose Mourinho, because I know George Mendes doesn't really have a good relationship with Manchester United, but he rarely speaks he never speaks publicly hardly about Jose Mourinho. But obviously he currently did, George Mendes. But potentially said it's untrue about Jose Mourinho leaving. He is still contracted to 2028. Do I still think he'll be at the end of the season? Yes, I still think he'll be at the end of the season. Mourinho said he's not too convinced we're going to get any Glasgow signings in January or any major signings in January. But the performance we showed out there today, I think we keep performing like that, we will get the results that we currently want. But to be quite fair, I know we've been in a bad run of form. We know the performances haven't been good enough this season. We know the performances haven't been good enough this season, as we all know. But if we're playing that attitude, and we did show it against Arsenal, we played very, very well. We drew 2-2, but I thought in the Arsenal game, a lot of players put a good shift in, and we played very, very well in the Arsenal game. So in the last two games, including today, Arsenal midweek and today, I think the performances have really, really stepped up. If I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, but as I said, that was George Mendes' perspective. That he's happy. Jose Mourinho at the club. We know he hasn't had good relationships with the top players since he's been here. He's always been discussing about currently what he's achieved and what he's won in the past. Jose Mourinho, and he potentially mentioned that in his press conference that team potential in us. He says he's admitted that teams have improved around us as well of Jose Mourinho. So potentially, I don't know where this takes us now in the table. Liverpool won comfortably today, 4-0 away at Bournemouth. I think they're top. Chelsea playing Man City now. Arsenal, I think won. Yeah, Arsenal won 1-0. I'm not sure the other results. As I said, but important win today. Now we've got to try and get some wins behind us. But I've still Mourinho out. I always will be still Mourinho out, and he's actually come out in the press today as Jose Mourinho, and he's actually potentially said, potentially if Liverpool City keep spending, it's going to be hard for us to win titles and challenge for titles. He says he doesn't know when we're going to challenge. He says potentially City needs sanctions, and he says potentially he doesn't know when we're going to challenge for titles. Did Jose Mourinho, but reportedly he's going to get hundred millions of pounds to spend in the January window. As I currently said, we've still got a lot of players, come to the end of the deals, as we all know, and potentially. We know potentially the board and the owners are trying to recommend the right man for the job because potentially I'm still Mourinho out. I still think he will be at the end of the season. I still think, everyone's been disappointed with his style of play and his managerial style at the club. But I think the performances have stepped up to be quite fair in the last couple of games. People have questioned Mourinho's team selections and his current tactics as well as we all currently know. And, he didn't start Pogba today, but it was still good, fluid, attacking performance today for Manchester United. We didn't have Paul Pogba there. Mourinho dropped Paul Pogba, started Lukaku. Martial didn't start today because he was injured. I think he was slightly injured, but he didn't play at all today. Rashford did very, very well. Lingard again did very, very well. I thought he had a good game today. He was creating very, very created chances. Obviously he played very, very well against Arsenal as well. Did Jesse Lingard, to be quite honest with you, did very, very well. But obviously what you said, Mourinho said in his press conference about, other teams, if they finish 10th, the manager will feel like, they are a champion. That's something Mourinho came out where he did say Fulham would give us a good game. But this is what he said in his press conference. But obviously, that wasn't potentially the case. I knew probably Man United were going to win today, obviously. I know we've dropped silly points to silly teams this season, as we all currently know, but we're glad to see us. We took some positives from that game today. We've got the win, and that's all that matters. And this is our biggest win now of the season, 4-1, as he currently said. But we know potentially there's been rumours, going on in the current press. There's been rumours, sprouting out from the press potential that Pochettino could take over Manchester United at the end of the season. He said reportedly Man United have to pay up to £40 million to get him reportedly. I think he'd do potentially a good job because he has been in the Premier League 7 years as Pochettino. Potentially he has got a 5-year deal with Tottenham and he's on about £8 million per season with Tottenham Hotspur. He's Pochettino, but he's Premier League proven in terms of winning silverware. Premier League proven, but in terms of winning silverware, hasn't achieved that as a manager. But he's not happy with the lack of investment because he's obviously spent £50 million since 2014 since he got appointed Tottenham manager. Pochettino, obviously, he played 18 years in his playing career, with Espanyol, made up 300 appearances for them and won 2 Copa del Reys. Obviously went to Bordeaux and Paris Saint-Germain. And he nearly played 2 decades in his playing career. Then he's been manager since 2009. He's obviously managed Espanyol in the past for a good 3 years. Southampton's just over here. Now he's at Tottenham and he's done very, very well with Tottenham. He's got a good bunch of players. And Mourinho's said before about Tottenham, how reluctant Tottenham are, to sanction their best players off. Mourinho's discussed about this, but obviously Pochettino, he's proven in the Premier League. The board and the owners have thought about recommending him for the job. As he currently said, and Pochettino's come into the equation as well. It did say it cost Man United less money to sack Mourinho if we do fail to get top 4 this season. Potentially top 4 is going to be still very, very difficult for us to get, even though we did win today, because obviously many teams above us are not going to drop many points. And we know potentially Jose Mourinho spent over £400 million since he's been here, so he's looking for a strong central defender, he's looking for an attacker. We know he's linked with a lot of players, and also we know Jose Mourinho started Mata today because obviously Mata didn't play against Arsenal as well. He mainly plays on the right, does Mata, or in the middle, but he played today in the midfield. Didn't need one Matt, but I thought he was creative, very consistent. I thought Matt had a great game today as well. Herrera didn't do too bad. Herrera should have got his name on the score sheet as well. But very important win. We've got to try and take this momentum and these recent performances to the Liverpool game at Anfield, and we know that's going to be potentially a very difficult game. But all these players are not Mourinho. He's obviously inheriting some of the players Van Gaal got in, and two of the players David Moyes got in. And we know we've had a very difficult season, as you know, as we all know. Potentially we've had a difficult season. Potentially David De Gea come out saying we need to go for Champions League top four because the Premier League's impossible now for us to get. And David De Gea, he didn't have much to do today, did he really? Did he even have to make one save or what I saw with the highlights? I think one save was it in the first half. But De Gea, I hope he signs this new deal. He did say we're happy at Manchester United, David De Gea. You know, he's obviously made over 2 century appearances in the Premier League. You know, we've had him in since 2011. You know, Mourinho said he was convinced he was going to sign a new deal. Said weeks ago before he wasn't too convinced. We may have to pay, you know, the similar wages of what Sanchez is currently receiving at the club, David De Gea, as well. But potentially, I hope he does sign a new deal because he's potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. I think from his perspective, De Gea wants to know if Jose Mourinho is staying at Manchester United. We know he's activated that clause now to extend his contract till 2020. And we know this player's underperformed this season. We know Lukaku, everyone talks about him being a big game battler in his first touch, but to be fair to him today, I thought showed a good performance. He also scored against Southampton. He got his name on the score sheet today, and he could have had more than one goal today, Romelu Lukaku, because I thought he put a good performance in. He had a couple of chances of his own. Um, he could have got more, but it was a lovely build-up play to build to Lukaku's third goal. Lovely exchange between Lingard and Juan Mata, but Lukaku, as I said, he said this morning in the press he was actually frustrated with Mourinho, with him not getting selected, and he hasn't been in great form this season, as we all know. Romelu Lukaku, you know, he was great in his first season when he came. He's Premier League proven, and you know he's scored goals everywhere he's been. He scored 46 goals for Belgium, hasn't he? You know, when he was at Anderlecht, he was top scorer for them in 2009, 2010. You know, with Chelsea, he wasn't a regular in his first season with Chelsea, but when he was at Everton, he scored 25, 26 goals in one season, was it, with Everton, Romelu Lukaku. But there's always time he can pick the form up, hopefully, of try and avoid getting any injuries, and I think he can pick the form up if the team are being consistent. And I thought he put a good performance in today, to be quite fair. Lukaku, potentially Sanchez, going on about him, we know he's out till January. You know, do you have any faith that, you know, if the team keep performing like this, that Sanchez can fit in and start performing well for Manchester United? We know it's been difficult, you know, since he's come to the club. He hasn't really performed or established himself well. We know he's set to return in the January window. He said he told his friends he actually wanted to leave Manchester United, but sometimes, you know, it does take players time, you know, to get along with the teammates, to fit in, you know, and Sanchez could eventually, you know, come good for Manchester United, you know, if the team keep performing like this. You know, we performed well today. I thought in terms of level of commitment, you know, we gave it everything against Arsenal. We're still a lack of quality against Arsenal. We were struggling to create chances against Arsenal, as we all know, but we know Arsenal are playing very well. As we all know, that was an even game. Man United had chances, Arsenal had chances, but it wasn't a bad performance. It wasn't a bad performance at all. And today, it proved that we did create chances very well today, and we did capitalise, and we took our chances and we finished them. And we could have had more than four today because we had a lot of chances, and a lot of players put a good performance today. It was a shame about Fulham getting the penalty as well, but obviously Fulham's misery continues. Sit bottom of the league. Also had a man sent off in the game as well. Man United had the majority of the possession. I think it was 60 odd to 30 odd possession as well. But to be fair, I think Sanchez, if you can give him a bit of time, we know he's on £500,000 a week, but if you can give him a bit of time, we know he was good at Arsenal, he was good under these, and he was good at Barcelona and all that. But if you give him a bit of time, he's only been here since January. He could fit in well with the team, link up well with the team, link up well with Lukaku and Rashford and Martial, and all that could Sanchez. So we could potentially give him a bit of time. I think Lindelof's dramatically improved this season, even though we know he's out till mid this month. Lindelof's out, as we all currently know. Lindelof's out, but he's a big miss because I think he's dramatically improved this season. You know, I think he struggled in his first season, Lindelof, and you know, I thought Mata was good today.
So I thought it was a great team performance. A lot of effort, a lot of creativeness, a lot of intensity shown in the game. A lot of good runs made on that flank, especially by Ashley Young. He made a lot of good runs. Rashford made a lot of good runs on the left hand side. Lukaku did very well, and I thought he played well today, Lukaku. I thought majority of the players played well today for Man United. Um, but yeah, Herrera didn't have a bad game as well. But as I was saying, if you've been hearing the rumours about Pochettino, as I said, potentially would you want him to come into Manchester United? But according to Pochettino, he said he's happy at Spurs. He's focusing on getting the top four with Spurs. He said because that's Tottenham's best hope. So potentially he's looking for top four with Spurs. And he said he's happy with Spurs. He's happy with the value at Tottenham. But obviously, as someone said, and I'm potentially going to say now, he's going to want to come to Manchester United next summer. So obviously he will react. We won't get him in January because we will definitely at least keep Mourinho till the end of the season. We know Mourinho's lowered the expectations. We know he hasn't met the expectation level since he's come to the club. Like, we should be challenging for major honours and competing. Obviously considering the amount of money we've spent, especially in all the managerial areas. Like £1 billion being spent on that team. And potentially drop Paul Pogba today. There was some talk saying, do we need Paul Pogba? Potentially, because obviously Paul Pogba, Mourinho's had a really bad relationship with Pogba, coming out calling him a virus and calling him this and that, and Pogba had reacted to this, and Mourinho dropped him today, as we all know. So could potentially Paul Pogba leave? He said quite a few weeks ago, he told the Juventus teammates he wanted to leave Manchester United, potentially make a return to Juventus, where he had 4 or 5 good years. We know Pogba hasn't really proved himself in English football. He's still a huge talent. He's Paul Pogba. We paid £89 million for now, most expensive player. But yeah, so could he potentially leave Paul Pogba, as I currently said? Um, it was shame Martial didn't play today because obviously he linked off against Arsenal, and he's been potentially our best outfield player this season, been scoring goals, playing very well. As I said, and I hope Manchester United can eventually, sign Martial a new contract term at the club. As I said, so I do hope that does happen because he's a very good young player, good young age prospect, as well as Antonio Martial. As I currently said, a very good young player. As I said. So I haven't seen Mourinho's post-match interview after the game. I'm going to go have a look at it in a minute. So potentially Man United won 4-1 today. The goals: Ashley Young, Juan Mata, Romelu Lukaku, and Marcus Rashford. Rashford got 2 assists. Mata got an assist, and Ashley Young got an assist as well. So good performances from all them players indeed. So hopefully we can push forward now, try and get us going a little bit, and get this confidence going into Tuesday. I know Tuesday's meaningless because we've obviously qualified for the knockouts potentially, but the big one is next week at Anfield, and that's going to be a very difficult game indeed. Liverpool in great form. They've got great players. Jurgen Klopp spent just under £400 million in like 6 transfer windows on great players. So that's going to be a very difficult game at Anfield. And potentially the last 2 games at Anfield in the league have been 0-0, but we have still potentially got a good record. We have still got potentially a good record over Liverpool. Potentially the last 2 visits have been 0-0 at Anfield. One of the games Mourinho had parked the bus. We beat him at Old Trafford 2-1 last season. I think Rashford scored twice. Under Louis van Gaal era in the league, I think Manchester United, we beat them 4 times under Louis van Gaal in his couple of years at the club. I think it was 3-1, 2-1. I think it was 3-1, 2-1, 1, 3-1, 2-1, 1-0 and 3-0. Yeah, we beat them 4 times under Louis van Gaal. They haven't beaten us at Old Trafford in the Premier League since 2014. Uh, Obviously, the last time they beat us at Old Trafford when we had David Moyes. Um, so potentially, yeah, it's going to be a very good game. I think this is going to be potentially Liverpool's best season of getting the Premier League, because they've never won the Premier League. They've won 18 all first divisions, but they've never actually won the Premier League. Potentially they've never won the Premier League, and yeah, so they're looking a very good team. As I said, Liverpool winning comfortably away from home today by 4 goals to 0 at Bournemouth, but they're looking a very decent outfit. Liverpool, and also it's going to be an interesting game. But as I said, um, we still got we can beat Liverpool on the day if we play our game. As I said, but
Yeah, we beat them 4 times under Louis van Gaal era. We beat them under David Moyes era in the League Cup at Old Trafford by 1 goal to nil. And Liverpool obviously have come close a couple of times to League 2015 when they threw a 10-point lead away and drew with Crystal Palace 3-all. In 2009 when we actually beat them to the league. When we had Ferguson, we had all them great players. We're beaten to the league by 4 points, and Liverpool were dominant that season. When they had Torres, De Sena, Aurelio, obviously Gerrard and all them players. Potentially. Liverpool had a chance to win it that season, so they have had a couple of chances to win the league. But I think Klopp's, got Liverpool very good attackingly. They're very, very good defensively now, especially in the league. Liverpool and City are the only two teams undefeated in the league. But I still, you still can't
compare Mourinho to the likes of Pep Guardiola at City. He's nowhere near on the same level as Pep Guardiola at City or Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool or even Unai Emery at Arsenal, as we all know. But essentially, we know he's very, very arrogant. We won't get too carried away because we won 4-1 today against Fulham. That's our biggest win in the league this season with Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho's 92nd game, with Manchester United, I think, something like that. And potentially his 50th victory now is, in the Premier League as Manchester United manager, Jose Mourinho's. And we know the board and the owners still need to focus on players that are coming to end their deals, because we have got a lot of players that are coming to end their deals. But De Gea, whether he signs a new deal or not, I don't know. He did talk about wanting to achieve, to gain silverware and all that, as we all know. And Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain have been interested in him. As we all currently know in the current process. But Mourinho, I don't think he's got the right philosophy for the club. I think he hasn't got the stature to command us in that position. We won today, fair enough. We won 4-1 today, but let's not get too carried away. It's only Fulham. They are struggling. I knew we were going to win today, but I wasn't very, very confident because obviously we didn't beat Palace at home. We didn't win at Southampton away, and the performances have just not been good enough this season from this Manchester United team. Some players have performed, a lot of them have been very, very bad, as I currently said. But potentially in the Arsenal game, the performance stepped up a lot. We showed some intensity, heart, and desire, and today the performance really, really stepped up. I think it's potentially the best performance of the season of what I saw today. Potentially, I didn't see all the game, but I saw we scored great, great goals. Rashford's four for a beauty. Ashley Young's first goal were absolutely fantastic as well to say. But yeah, George Mendes, his agent, doesn't really publicly speak about Mourinho, and he's come out and totally dispelled the myth that Mourinho will be leaving Manchester United. But here till the end of the season, Jose Mourinho potentially. But I still want the new manager in, whether it's, Pochettino, Zinedine Zidane. Zinedine Zidane's never been proven in playing in the Premier League or manager in the Premier League, but he's won individual awards, he's won a lot of honours with Real Madrid and Juventus as a player, and Real Madrid as a player as well, and he's not managing yet. His son has confirmed he's going to be returning back to management soon, is Zinedine Zidane. I think he'd have the winning mentality and the stature to command us in that position at Manchester United, but I still don't. I'm still Jose Mourinho. Wow, I'm not just going to change my opinions of what I thought Mourinho because we've won one game 4-1 against Fulham. Fulham are absolutely there, and absolutely poor, shocking side. They're shocking of Fulham, absolutely shocking of Fulham. So I won't get too carried away. But Liverpool's the big one next week. That's a game we potentially do have to win, of course. But we know Mourinho is linked with a lot of players. We know Harry Maguire's being mentioned, Koulibaly's being mentioned, Toby Alderweireld's being mentioned. He's a potential player Jose Mourinho would like. Came out in the press the other week that potentially Man United were interested in Christian Pulisic. He's not a priority target. I can't see any young player growing and developing under Mourinho. If he gets a young player in, Mourinho's only convinced, we'll only get one sign in the January window, according to what he said. But he came out today and he said in the press that if Liverpool and City keep spending, it's going to be difficult for Manchester United to challenge for titles, and he doesn't know when Manchester United are going to be challenging. He always say on about when was it ever? Quite a few weeks ago, he ran about Man United almost need a miracle of the top four, and he seemed to have changed his perspective after the Southampton draw as well. But we do need at least to get the top four. He still potentially isn't good enough, but now potentially, we do need top four, and we do want to get Champions League for next season. Respectively, I don't think Mourinho is going to be here at the end of the season because the results have just potentially not been good enough. So let's not potentially get carried away because we've beaten Fulham 4-1. It is a good team performance, very, very good, and very good attackively, very good creatively, created a lot of clinical chances. Should have been more, to be quite honest with you, because Fulham didn't show out attackively, apart from the one chance, was it, in the first half of the yard? Obviously, they got the penalty as well. Didn't he have a shot over the bar in the second half as well? But potentially, Lukaku's still got time to improve. Pogba, do you think he could be leaving? Because obviously he's not, obviously he's being dropped today, so there will be discussions about that as well. He didn't start today. We're good to see Matt come into the team today and deliver such a fantastic performance, as he said. As I said, but yeah, great one today. As I said, so who would you like to get in the January transfer window? As I said, but I'm saying when I saw Mourinho first came to the club, I thought this guy's a really good manager. He's got a good pedigree. He's won titles everywhere he's been, and I think he's going to make us back competitive and challenging for major honours. But it had to be. It didn't work out. He credit to him. He did get us 3 trophies in his first season. He got us to the FA Cup final last season, which we didn't turn in anywhere. So I did credit Jose Mourinho for that. But we won the game today. That's all that matters. Doyle, I thought, had showed he played well today. I thought he played good against Arsenal. He didn't show attackively against Arsenal, but I thought he did well against Arsenal, to be quite fair. It was shame Martial couldn't make it to the starting 11 today, but I thought Rashford, played very, very well. He fulfilled Martial's spot very, very well today, as I said. And I hope Rashford, stays. He's been a Manchester United player since the age of 7. Good, fantastic player. Still in his prime. 21 years of age. Is he just a year younger than Martial? He's under contract to 2020. I hope Man United can actually try and double his salary and getting him a new deal, to fend off interest from other teams, because he's attracting other teams, because, of how good he is, Rashford. It came out of the week that Real Madrid were interested in Rashford, and they're known for buying Premier League players at Real Madrid, and he's got a good pedigree scoring on his debut, Marcus Rashford, and he's a great player. He's Marcus Rashford, risen up the youth system fantastically well, and he's very, very young, and he's going to come potentially, I think, as years go on, I think he's going to become potentially one of the world's best players in the world. Just like Ronaldo had to do it through his youth system, and look what he delivered. He risen up the ranks for Sport in Lisbon, then he went to Real Madrid. Went to Manchester United, should I say. Sorry about that. Paid, 12 million? And look what he did at Manchester United. Became one of the best players in world football. The amount of goals he scored, the amount of honours he won with us as well. And yeah, same with Messi. He had to rise up the youth systems as well. And look at, potentially, he's one of the best players in the world now. I think Rashford is going to get to that level, when he grows and develops more. And he's still only young. So I think by the time he's 25, 26, he will be potentially one of the best footballers in the Premier League and in the world as well. And same with Martial, because his performances have been absolutely fantastic this season as well. And we know we've had a lot of injury problems. We all know that, but we've got to continue these performances, because we've seen this season, we only seem to play for one half, or we seem to play good the other half, or we seem to only play, when we desperately need to play, for like 1-2-0 down or whatever. That's the only time we seem to play. And we're lucky where we are, because we were lucky to win at Bournemouth. That was a horrendous first half performance at Bournemouth, for where the second half, as you saw, Newcastle at home, horrendous first half, good second half, because we came back and won. Juventus was an horrendous performance in the Champions League, but we still won the game 2-1. But potentially, so we've got to get this confidence now and get us back. We've got to get now on winning terms, and that's the most important thing. But yeah, saying good team forms today. Manchester United 4, Fulham 1. Drop me comments, like, on the channel. What did you think of the game? And take care. God bless. There will be more live videos coming up very, very soon. Take care.